And during the few moments that we have left, we want to have just an off-the-cuff chat between you and me. Us. We want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
Oh, man. I tell you what, man. No matter what college tries to teach, no matter what the feminists say, men and women are just not alike. They're just not alike. And I wish people would stop trying to lie to themselves and say that men and women are the same despite their genitalia. That is not true. That is not true. Like, on any level, that is not true. I was talking with the lady from church today. Actually, not too long ago. We had a long text message conversation. And it started out by I posted a screenshot of some people I know on Facebook who just bought the recent Fallout 4. Right? Because, I mean, you know, I'm a former gamer myself. Well, I still kind of am a gamer, but I'm not like a gamer's gamer like I used to be. But I still have I have a lot of friends who still play video games, like, religiously, right? So I gave her a photo of their recent purchase, because they posted pictures of the disc and how they were playing and all that sort of stuff. And I say, see, men have checked out. Because we had a conversation that precedes this one about, because she had read an article saying, like, men have checked out from the dating world and marriage, and they're just going off and kind of just doing their own thing, i.e. MGTOWs. And and so when I gave her that screenshot, I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Men have checked out. Like, this is very bad. And she's like, what did she say? Here, let me check my phone real quick. Let me actually tell you kind of parts of the conversation that we initially had. Man, this convo was long. Oh, here it is. Okay. So she says, I saw some research that said video games achieve, parentheses, mentally, what guys historically, in parentheses, wanted to achieve in real life. It's just risk-free online. Do you buy that? And she's like, I need to change. I saw some research that said video games achieve mentally what guys historically only had opportunity to achieve in real life. It's just risk-free online. Do you buy that? And I said, yeah, but it's not because online is really risk-free. It's because it's easier to achieve online. Boys are told to worry about video games and sports and the my own punctuation. See, study English. That is very important skill. Study English and know what to do. I got a B in English, but that probably just shows you how low the academic standards have become in this country. Anyway, I'm gonna stay on topic. But video games and sports and the options to do other things have been taken away. It all goes back to dividing men and women. And then she's like, I don't get the second part about what boys are told to worry about video games. Do you mean by the culture? And then she says right after that, so you're saying boys don't have the opportunity. And then I break down to her basically why boys would rather play video games than actually go out and achieve something, you know? And she, I said it in a long message. I'm not going to read it. And she's like, I think I get what you're saying. I don't understand the Xbox accolades, though. Is that actually fulfilling? And I tell her, it has to be because we have no other options. And remember, every group has a new reality. My age group remembers life before the internet was a big deal, so playing outside wasn't boring because that's where your friends were. And she says, that's sad, though. And I said, once all the feminists convinced soccer moms that playing outside was dangerous because of pedophiles, I meant to say male pedophiles on that one, but I think that's kind of implied through media. Dangerous because of pedophiles, dodgeball was barbaric, and tag wasn't fair for child self-esteem, they kept all their children inside. Well, that's when video games became the main entertainment source. Then kids just younger than me now associate quote-unquote fun with being online and in front of the television, not knowing how fun it is to run outside. And she's like, yep, that's sad. It's like, so then boys grow up thinking that being at level 70 in World of Warcraft is more fulfilling than than being a contributor on a high school sports team or something. And I said, yeah, it's sad because people have no idea how dangerous it is for a society to have women thinking and believing toxic things. And then we went off on like dads and some biblical stuff and, the role of men and the role of women and why, some other things. But point being is that, see, when I explain this stuff, and Aaron explains this stuff to his mom and the women in his family and the people who he associates with as well, and the men catch on better than the women because the men know what our role is in society, because that's our nature. Our nature is to be the builders, the maintainers, the protectors of society, and women are to be the nurturers. Here's where it goes off the rails, is that society still tells us to do that, but to give women the authority to run everything. And that's not going to happen. I mean, Willie Peach said it. Yonks85 has said it. I can't remember if I remember Tariq Nasheed saying it, but, all these different commentators online have said it. And again, the ones who I just kind of named are black, but that's because, again, feminism has already run rampant in the black community. So a lot of this stuff is now just affecting the white community. But again, it's the same system. Everything is beta tested on the black community. Then it's applied to the white community. And since whites ignore the plight of blacks because of, whatever, they don't know how to defend against it, because, again, it goes back to the white elites. The white elites run our social constructs and they tell us what to think. Anyway, so that being the case, it's funny how men get these concepts over women. And the reason why men get it is because we're on the front lines. We're the ones being told, don't be mean, don't have drive to go out and invent anything, stay in front of the television, watch sports, play video games, act like children, and then that further just, and then having that taught to boys, interlaced with the feminism of men can't be trusted, men are childish, men aren't going to step up to the plate, women, you need to go out there, be strong and independent on your own, have your own house, have your own car, have your own this, have your own that. Like, that is just a perfect situation to keep men and women divided. Because what that does for men is says this: well, if she's strong and she's independent, she does not need me. I do not need to protect her. I do not need to provide for her. I do not need to build and maintain any sort of wealth for her because she has her own house. She has her own car. She's an INDEP. See, like, it's all that. See, all of that. See, it's fun in the club. It's like, yeah, INDEP. Do you know what that means? She got her own house. She got her own car. See, it's funny. But when 3 a.m. rolls around and there's a crash in the kitchen downstairs and it's you and your husband, or it's you and your wife sitting there laying in bed, then it's, well, honey, why don't you go see what that noise was? Excuse me? Could you imagine how a woman's going to react to that when you tell her to go see what that noise was? Like, oh, now all of a sudden the man's the man. He has to go protect the house. He has to protect he's responsible for the safety of the household. It's like, wait a minute. You were strong and independent, 2 hours ago. But now you're the subordinate woman. Now you're just a girl. Like Bill Burr says, out come the pigtails and the jump rope. And I'm just a girl. I don't know how to. It's like, no, wait a minute. You were strong and independent today. But then when the burglar comes, now it's the man's responsibility. Now step up and be a man. Now see, when you tell women to be strong and independent, you are letting men off the hook. So men aren't going to want to do that. Hence I'm going to play video games. I'm going to worry about my fantasy football team because I don't need to protect her. Why do I have to put my life in danger and put myself in a dangerous, compromising situation to accommodate a woman who can build and maintain herself? She's on autopilot. I keep her around for company and sexual gratification. And that's what feminism tells women. Men are meant to be a safety net financially and a sexual partner. Yeah, and it's like, then we wonder why society's crumbling. It's like, how are you going to hold men accountable for the safety and the protection of women while not giving men any benefits for being the ones responsible for the safety and protection of women? Men aren't going to do that. And women may say, well, you should just do it because of the kindness of your heart. That's not good. No, that's not enough. We need to know that if we are going to protect you and be your protector and provider and responsible for the safety of you and your situation, then guess what? We want to be exclusive. We want to be your husband. We want to be your committed relation. We want to be in a committed relationship. We're not going to do it just because we should. Because then what does that breed? That breeds the men going, well, why don't you just give me sexual favors because it's fun to do? The women are like, it's not the same. Yes, it is the same. Why do we have to provide? Why should men provide relationship level behaviors and not be in relationships, but women don't have to give up relationship level behaviors and also not be in a relationship? Do you know what I mean? Basically, why do men have to act like a boyfriend or a husband, but women don't have to act like a girlfriend or a wife in the same scenario? It's like, oh, well, yeah, there are some chivalrous things that should happen. Like, okay, you hold the door open, you say, hi, how you doing, ma'am? May I help you? Still, stuff like that. Okay, fine. But the whole, if there's a burning building, the men should be expected to go in there and run after. The men should be expected to go in there and run and protect the women and the children. Or if there's like a hostage situation, the men have to jump in front of the bullet to make sure that the women are okay. But then the women are just gonna sit there and be like, "Thank you, la 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 la." And then they go skip out the front door. It's like, no. Men aren't gonna do just do that to be the momentary hero to not get the princess. That's the whole reason guys even play games like that. Well, guys of my generation, why we played games like that back in the 80s and 90s. It's because you went on the not episodic adventure. What is it? It's like basically the whole epic journey, adventurous journey to get the princess. That was the whole point, is that at the end of it, you go, you slay the dragon, and you get the princess. You don't go, slay the dragon, the princess says, good job, thanks, I got her from here, bye, and then she goes and marries and sleeps with the guy from the next kingdom who didn't do jack squat to help slay the dragon and make her free. See, it's that. Or even better, it's like the women are stuck in the tower, and they're like, I'm strong and independent, I'll slay the dragon myself. You don't even have a sword. I'll make a sword with what materials? That doesn't matter. Or how about you go get me the materials? It's like, well, if I get you the materials, I have to inherently slay the dragon in order to even reach you to give you the materials to make the sword. But then again, by the time you make the sword, you don't know if it's effective because the dragon's already been killed and there's no other way to test it. Shut up. I'm strong and independent. It's like, here we go. And it's like, man, like you just can't get anywhere with this, And this is the fundamental difference between men and women. Is men are not going to put ourselves in a dangerous situation for the comfort of women without having any benefit. That's not going to happen. Just like women. Women are not going to be in a long-term relationship with a guy with no benefit. And the benefit for them is you have a man who's willing to put his life on the line for the sake of their family. He's willing to do whatever it takes to provide you with resources to run the house and to raise the children, etc. and so forth. And he's there as your, when you have a bad day, he's the shoulder you lean on. That is what women want in a relationship fundamentally. Now, when it comes down to small things like, oh, I like talking about this, or I like doing that, and he likes doing this too. It's like, yeah, see, that's all just small individually based stuff. But as a general sense, that's what women want. And men want a feminine woman who they feel will take care of their future children, who will be there as a partner to help them through the hard times, to be there as a like when men have a hard day at work, they want a soft, feminine woman to come home to who will say, oh honey, it's okay, you can do better, it's added, I love you, blah blah blah, here, let me cook you dinner, let me do this, let me do that. And then the man's like, I have a good woman, this is why I sit here and deal with this BS, so let me just suck it up, tomorrow's a new day and I'm going to go back to work. Or he'll just say, I'm going to find another job, and that'll motivate him to find another job to help take care of his wife. So it's that, like, no one's going to just intrinsically do stuff for free and not have any benefit from it. That's just not going to happen, male and female alike. And that really needs to be addressed, or else it's just going to keep going the way that it is. Men are going to sit around and play video games and not take care of women, and women are going to sit here and be strong and independent. But at the same time, they want men to provide them to provide them the environment so they can be strong and independent, which inherently makes them not strong and independent. But hey, whatever. Maybe society just wants to fail. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But anyway, that's my video. John from the Gen XY.